What's up guys, Meredith with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we are checking out the C&L adjustable rear camber arms fitting all 2006 through 2023 Chargers. Now if you've lowered your Charger, no matter what the amount of drop that you have, these will be a great solution to improve your handling and fine-tune the camber for whatever type of driving that you want to do, whether you are trying to even it out for street driving or drag use, or fine-tune the degree for drifting and more road course type driving. Now these will also be one of your most affordable choices to get your alignment back in check if you don't want to break the bank while you're doing it. Now if you're not familiar with camber, it's your angle of which your wheel tilts, and it's measured in degrees. Now positive camber is when your wheel tilts out at the top, and negative camber is something that you're probably more familiar with. The top of your wheel is tilting in and the bottom is tilting out. Now when lowering your car and switching your alignment angles, you start to create some more negative camber by lowering that center point, and depending on how much you drop your car, you can affect your handling in the rear end as far as stability and tire wear is concerned. Now while not all negative camber is bad, this set will allow you to adjust the length, ultimately adjusting the degrees to fine-tune your alignment and set your camber based off of your goals, whether you want more of that negative tilt for cornering or back in normal range for normal street driving or straight runs. These will be made of a tubular steel construction with a red powder coat on top, so these will be able to handle some abuse, especially with this center welded support bar here, and they'll be protected from rust while also adding a pop of red, even though you won't be able to fully see them. Now the arms will also be incredibly convenient to adjust, considering that they are double adjustable, so you can tune them while they're already installed in the car, taking all the guesswork out of the adjustments. Now they will also provide good range from a positive 3 degrees of camber to a negative 3, and while that doesn't sound like a lot, 1 degree or even a couple is going to make all the difference. Now the ends will also have a super tough bushing and sleeve, very similar to factory, and will bolt right into place, so install is going to be fairly straightforward. Now these will come in at about $175, and for the pair of integral suspension components, I think that this is a great price. Now they will be your most affordable choice at the moment, but they don't sacrifice quality and convenience at the same time. Now other choices might differ slightly in design, but I think if you're just looking for a quick and affordable solution to fix the rear end camber after you've lowered your Charger, then this is going to be a great pick. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should take you about 2 hours to get the job done with the right setup and the right tools. Now at this point we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get these onto your Charger at home, so that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an 18mm socket, a couple screwdrivers, 18, 24, and a couple 27mm wrenches, an 18mm ratcheting wrench, and a tape measure. What's up guys? Today we're installing rear camber arms on our Charger, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take an 18mm socket and wrench to remove our most outer bolt. So now we're going to go to our back mount. I'm going to take an 18mm wrench on the bolt side. We can get it sitting against our camber arm here to hold it in place. And then I'm going to come from the bottom with an 18mm ratcheting wrench to loosen up our nut. So now I'm just going back and forth on these 2 bolts. With that back bolt pulled out a little bit, we have a little more tilt to get this front one out over our other arm. So I'm going to take an 18mm socket to just zap that one out. And now with more movement, we should be able to get our back bolt out. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. So now we can adjust our new camber arms to match the factory length. This is going to be good enough to get you to the alignment shop, and then they can do all the fine tuning from there. So to do this, you're going to need a couple 27mm wrenches, a 24mm wrench, and a tape measure. Now you're going to line this up to the bushing, make sure it's the exact same length. You can do this by looking down the hole, or you could use something that fit those holes nicely, like a couple screwdrivers, to drop in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and line it up, I'm gonna put my screwdriver through that hole, and then we can see how far off we are. I've got a little bit of play here, so we're gonna have to extend this. Now, this is your center adjustment nut, and then you have your 2 lock nuts. Now, from the edge of this nut to the start of the threads, you don't want that to be longer than 3/4 of an inch. And then from the same thing, edge of this nut on the other side to the edge of this red here, you also don't want that over 3/4 of an inch. So we can make our adjustment. Now it looks a little bit better. So I'm going to slide this first lock nut down to meet up with our middle adjustment nut. And then our other lock nut is going to go towards the red. And now we're going to take a 27mm wrench on our adjustment nut and a 24mm wrench on our lock nut. And get the screwdriver in here to hold it straight and make sure that our bushing doesn't twist. We'll tighten that down. And then we're going to do that pretty much the same thing for the other one, except we're going to be tightening this up against here, but we're still going to have to hold that middle adjustment nut. Now I don't have a second 27mm wrench, so I'm using this guy. Get that nice and tight, and then you can come over to the other side and take your 24mm wrench and snug that up. Now you can do that same exact thing for the other side, and we can get these back on the car. So now we're ready to install our new camber arm. So I'm going to get this into the back mount and get that bolt through. And then we can get the nut on the other side. And now we can get our front bolt installed. Now I'm going to be pushing a little bit on the hub just to get this to slide through. And then once you get that most of the way through, you can just tap it the rest of the way in with a hammer. And then we'll thread our nut onto the other side. So now we can go back and tighten down our 2 bolts. I've got a pole jack pushing up on the suspension so that we can tighten it under load. So we're going to take that 18mm wrench for the bolt side and the 18mm ratcheting wrench for the nut side and tighten this down. And now we'll take our 18mm socket and wrench, tighten down our outer bolt. And now with both of those tightened down, you can release your load on the suspension. And then you can do that same thing on the other side.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the C&L adjustable rear camber arms fitting all 2006 through 2023 Chargers. And you can find these right here at AmericanMuscle.com.